It's a difficult morning. I had word this morning from Peggy that her friend Chris had committed suicide. I sort of felt Chris was my friend too, because I got to know her when I went to Australia. And I know that I remember in the years before I went to Australia where Peggy had talked to me about Chris being depressed. I didn't see, well, maybe I saw a little bit of that when I was there. But I don't really want to talk about Chris. I want to talk about suicide. I'm sure that I've known of other people who've committed suicide, but the first one that I really remember was the death of my friend Ann's son. I remember her calling me one night to let me know that he had hung himself. And there was just such shock, and I don't remember how old he was, maybe 18, something like that. Some friends of some people that Paul knew, and I guess the rest of our kids knew too, had committed suicide. Paul was dating a girl once when her father committed suicide. And Paul's death was ruled by the coroners as a suicide, but all of us who knew him don't think that that was possible. And one of the reasons why I don't think it was possible was because he was... Lizzie's getting something. I've got to go rescue it from her. I had to go take something out of Lizzie's mouth. She's gotten into something, I don't know what. Anyway, a few days before Paul died, he told me that one of the things that he thought he wanted to do was to do something in his latest show about the stupidity of suicide. So, to think that he would be so stupid as to commit suicide when he was planning to talk about committing suicide at his show is unbelievable. But, I'm really rambling because I don't know what I want to say here. Suicide is probably the most selfish act that anyone can ever commit, because you leave behind such horrible pain and suffering for the people who are left. And yet I think that people who commit suicide must be in such deep, deep, deep despair and such incredible pain that they don't even think about the people who love them or what effect it's going to have on their lives. It's really difficult to try to be serious when I've got two dogs who are wrestling here in front of me. I think the pain must just be so great that you do anything to end it. But it doesn't just end your life, it ends the life of everybody around you. And I can, on some level, I can understand why people kill themselves. I've been at points in my life where things were so black that the thought of just not being here was a very pleasant thought. And yet, there's always something, you've got to take care of somebody, or you've got to keep the dogs from knocking over the camera. And so I just don't think that I could ever be at that level. And I feel so sorry for the people who feel that there's no hope when, I don't know, I don't want to condemn Chris for doing what she did, because I can only imagine that she must have been hurting so terribly much to take her own life. But yet I think about all the pain. She's got a son and a grandson who's only 2 years old, and how can you leave something so beautiful as a grandchild? I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know her really well. I only spent 3 weeks in Australia, and most of that time we were traveling, so I didn't spend a lot of time with her. But we clicked on some level, and she wrote to me after I got back, and she seemed to be so excited about student teaching that she was doing and about her grandson, and just about life, but then I hadn't heard from her in a long time. And I figured that was just kind of the natural passing of, it'd been 3 years since I'd been to Australia, and I had planned to go back, but I wasn't going to go back. And so, I don't know, I must have missed out on a chapter somewhere. It's not that I don't feel any guilt or anything like that. There's nothing that I could do. I didn't know her that well, but suicide is just such an incredibly sad thing for everybody, for the people who are in such pain that they feel they have to take their lives, for the people who are going to think forever now, what could I have done to prevent this? I don't know. Chris, wherever you are, I hope that you're happy, and I hope that you're at peace. And I'm just so, so, so sorry that you were in such pain that you felt that you had to do this.